Okay, hi everybody. We're back again with our little cottage. This time it has a thatch roof, or the beginnings of a thatch roof from the texture that we just made. And if you haven't seen any of those videos yet, you should probably go see it, otherwise you're coming in the middle and you won't know what's going on. But it's not that difficult. All we're doing is using textures and patterns to make this cottage. So I've added already the back side of this. There's my guideline that I selected to do this, and then I used our action that we had earlier to flip the thatch, so it's pointing the other direction, and we've just got a couple more bits to add too, including the bit that disappears behind the house here, which will need to go behind the walls, so I'll add it in down here. Pattern. This pattern we made. These are all my trials. And these are some different color variations I was trying when you weren't here to see it. Okay, that's there, and we'll change the color of it in a minute. What I'm also going to do is, obviously, this is just looking very 2D here, so I'm going to give it some depth with, turn that back on, this much depth, just for a rough start. Beef that up a little bit once we've got it on. Let's guide off again. So that looks entirely blended in now, but what I'm going to do to it is double click on this layer here, go to color overlay, and okay, what's set up there already is pretty good. This is something that will be added in the shading layer too, but I at this stage need to be able to differentiate it too. So I will also change just this underneath, I think, to have this same effect. So that's just a darker color overlaid on it. You could also do multiply, but that'll look muddier. So because this is a nice bright thing and I want it to keep looking nice and bright, I'm going to put it back on overlay. And let's see. To right click, copy layer style, and paste it onto here too. So that underside is shaded too. I should really do this one, but I did make this whole thing long. In fact, what I'm going to do is paste it onto here anyway. Just adjust it a little bit. So go back to the color overlay, fade it a little bit. But this all is very square and chunky looking, which is not really how thatch looks. So what I'm going to do is take a brush tool and let's see, let's start with this one, which is the front of the roof. I'm going to label that so I can find it again. And brush tool, and I'm going to go with something that we were using yesterday. I remember this brush. Turn it to white, and let's just go to the mask layer, and we're going to adjust that a little bit. Make it a bit bushier, a bit shaggier. It doesn't need to be very precise and accurate, but you just want a little bit of that feeling of it being a bit rounder and fluffier, like thatched roofs are. Just going to alter the edge a little bit here on all of this. Get a little bit rougher. One thing that doing this does mean is that if I then went to try and put on a stroke, yeah, so here the stroke is a very thin, subtle line. When you make a rougher, more translucent edge, the stroke will be a bit thicker because of the translucency and the rough edges. So it depends if that's what you want or not. Let's have a look how that looks. I don't think I do want that. Not now, at least. What I might do instead, I'll turn it off there, but what I could do instead is apply it to the group. What am I? Here it is, stroke. There we go. Having a little time, taking a little time to think about that. Okay, so see whether I want that at the end. I'm going to turn it off for now and get back to what I was doing. Try not to get distracted while you're all listening and watching in. It's a bit fatter, bolder. This thatch isn't exactly going in the right direction, but I'm not too worried about it because it's super visible. So that's that part. Just make it a bit fatter. Under part, so it has that slightly darker overlay on it. I'm going to make it quite a bit thicker than it. I think I might pull it under here just to edge a little bit. Well, not highlight. Get out. That's already looking a bit thicker, more like thatch. I think what it needs is a layer here or something, or maybe along the front. But I'm going to hold on that until I've done this area here, which I'll do now. So shrink these so it's not so distracting. To label this. And front only needs to make sense to me, and hopefully that will if I ever come back to it. Back. Okay, so now what we want is a porch roof. That's why I've turned this from, it was on soft light before, but this is very subtle. I should have made it a different color, but I'm not going to go back and change that now. Instead, I'll just do it here. Okay. So again, this is just a guide. It out a bit better soon, so that'll be under there. Top. In fact, I'll put it above and then I can see what I've done. Let's see. Deciding how many pieces I want to do this side in. First of all, I'll use that action that we made last time to pattern. And there we go. It's pointing in the right direction. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make this part separate. Pattern. Not that one, but this one. Behind. Then the kind of overhang and underneath, and just the chunkiness. This is actually a thing here, you just can't see because the greys are identical. It's part up when I can see what's behind it. So there, that's pattern. This one. And did I keep that? I think the last time I pasted a layer style, it was this one. Yep, there we go. So now we can see the depth. I'm going to turn this guide off. They've got this little porch roof as well. That we'll just... Now thatch seems to sort of merge into each other, and it does... You can have some that make some really nice shapes, but I've just gone quite simple. So, let's see. Merge these together a little bit. It'll become clearer. It'll get a bit more clarity when we shading, but I think it's okay to have these kind of blend into each other here. And I'm also going to make this a lot more rounded at the front here. So I've switched it to black, and that's going to erase these edges. So this would be... Oh, that's not this layer. This is... Turn these ones off just so I can see what I'm working with. Yeah, I think that's going to look right. Turn these back on. And let's see, let's work with this one, just to give it that curve that I put on the other side. Also the depth. Fluffier. I'm just going to switch to a hard brush to ink. It's gone a little bit weird looking because I've made this part light but this part dark, but it's the same angle. So I will change this, paste that layer style on. Not ideal, but what I'll do is I'll make it a bit like... Okay, that's close enough. It'll get sorted out when we shade it. This is annoying me a little bit, but I think once we add the shading, it should be okay. No, I think what's missing is there should be a little bit more from the overhang. To change this and add it a little bit with my noisy snow, because we liked that one. Okay, that looks a bit better to the eye, for me at least. Right. Confusing me. I'll come back to it. Okay, so there we go. It's mostly done. Let's finish up this chimney. And see, let's use the guide, which I'll put back at the top. Guys, so I know what they are. Porch roof. And let's go into our chimney layer and can put it back onto soft light so I can see what's going on. Around here. I think just some plain stone here will do. So another pattern. About this one, I think. Now, I know that's about right because I know what I've got, but it's close enough. It looks okay. I haven't done this little edge, which I will do. I'll go back to my hard brush, chimney, see which one's this one's the right layer. Here. Yeah. Make it look a bit Okay, that'll do, because I think this being a straight line is fine. It is hovering a bit though, so I'll down. Same with this one. Get right. Okay. Oh, yep. Don't forget my chimney pots. I'm just going to do them roughly for now. Figure them out a bit better. I do some shading, that went a bit wonky. Pattern again. This one, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just use a solid color for this. The color that I will pick off of here. So let's try one last time. Solid color, and then it needs to be something around. I think I'll probably need to draw these on. So just draw the other one. Solid color, same as this one. I'll fix that in a second. Go. This is not complete, but it'll do for now. Okay, so from here, I think this is about ready for shading. There's a lot more dressing that could go on it with pots and plants and all that kind of thing, but I think what I'll do is leave it just like this and put them on in situ so that it's relevant to the place that it goes in. Okay, so before I get to the shading, I promise and just quickly make these into chimney pots. Rough and ready. I'll probably change the color of this line shortly so that it's a bit more blended with what's going in there. I haven't done my warm-ups yet today for this. It's a bit rusty. No. Might find that this has magically repaired itself when come back to it. Actually know what a chimney pot looks like actually, which is part of the problem, I think. Okay. What I can do is turn that into a color layer. Get settled like this and then figure it out. Okay, so I think I'll move on to a new video to add the shading so that it's not too long altogether and you can take which part you like. Okay, there we go.